All right, let's get straight into it. Because this is one of those topics where people don't want the truth. They want validation. They want someone to say, yeah, landed is the ultimate goal. Just go for it. But if you're listening to this, you're not here for comfort. You're here for clarity. Picture this. You've been doing well. Income is strong. Career is stable. Maybe you already own a condo. And then the thought hits. Should I upgrade to landed? Because in Singapore, landed isn't just property. It's identity. It's status. It's that moment where people look at you and go, okay, this person has made it. But here's the problem. Most people don't compare condo versus landed properly. They compare emotion with logic. And emotion always wins. Let's strip this down. No marketing, no ego, just first principles. First question, what are you actually buying? Because people say, I want landed, but they don't even understand what that means structurally. When you buy a condo, you're buying a share of a development, facilities, security, a product designed for mass market demand. When you buy landed, you're buying land, full control, privacy, scarcity. And on paper, landed looks superior. You own land. And in Singapore, land is limited. So the assumption is, landed must be better. Wrong. Because ownership alone doesn't determine performance. Liquidity does. Let me say that again. In property, your power is not what you own. It's how fast you can exit. And this is where the brutal truth comes in. Condos are easy to sell. Landed is not. Why? Buyer pool. Think about it logically. A $1.5 million to $2.5 million condo? Huge market. Young couples, upgraders, investors, PRs. There's constant demand. Now compare that to a $4 million, $6 million, $8 million landed property. Who is buying? Very small group. High-income families, business owners, ultra-wealthy individuals. So when you need to sell, your pool shrinks dramatically. And here's the part people don't think about. You don't control when you need to sell. Life controls that. What if you need liquidity? You want to upgrade again. You want to exit during a downturn. You need to relocate. If your asset is illiquid, you are stuck. And being stuck in property is one of the most dangerous positions you can be in. Now let's talk about cash flow, because this is where reality really hits. With a condo, you have predictable maintenance, manageable property tax, strong rental demand. If needed, you can rent it out, generate income, offset your mortgage. With landed, different story. Maintenance, unpredictable. Roof leaks, structural issues, renovation costs. Property tax, higher. Rental demand, niche. Most landed properties are negative cash flow assets, meaning you are funding it entirely from your income. So now ask yourself, are you buying an asset or are you taking on a lifestyle liability? Now let's talk about leverage, because this is where most people completely misunderstand the game. Property is powerful because of leverage. You control a large asset with relatively smaller capital. Condos allow you to enter earlier, use less capital, scale over time. You can buy, grow, recycle capital, upgrade. Landed, you go all in. Huge capital, single asset, high concentration risk. You are not diversifying, you are concentrating. And concentration only works if you're already very, very strong financially. Now let's address the biggest myth. Landed always appreciates more. Sounds logical, right? Land is scarce, so price must go up more. But here's reality. Price growth is not just about scarcity. It's about entry price, demand, supply, pipeline, buyer affordability. A well-bought condo in a growth area near MRT with strong demand can outperform a poorly bought landed property. Because price movement is driven by buyers, and condo buyers are everywhere. Now let's get uncomfortable, because this is where most people won't admit the truth. Most landed purchases are not financial decisions. They are identity decisions. I've made it. I deserve this. This is the next step. And once you attach identity to a purchase, you stop thinking rationally. You start justifying. You ignore numbers. You ignore risk. You ignore exit. And that's how people get trapped. Now let's talk about the upgrade illusion. This one is dangerous. The typical path looks like this. Condo, landed. Feels like progression. Feels like success. But what actually happens? You increase debt, reduce liquidity, lock capital, increase stress. And the worst part? You kill your ability to make your next move because everything is tied up in one asset. Now compare that to someone who stays in condos strategically. They buy well, exit well, recycle capital, upgrade step by step. They maintain flexibility, they maintain liquidity, they maintain control. That's how wealth compounds. So the real question is not, which is better? The real question is, what stage are you in? Because different stages require different strategies. Let's break it down simply. Stage 1, building wealth. You need liquidity, flexibility, growth. Condo wins. Stage 2, scaling wealth. You need capital recycling, strategic upgrades. Condo still wins. Stage 3, preserving wealth. Now, landed starts to make sense, because at this stage, you're not trying to grow fast, you're trying to preserve, stabilize, enjoy. But here's the mistake. Most people jump to stage 3 while still in stage 1, and that's why they struggle. Now let me be very clear. Landed is not bad. It's just not for everyone. You should only consider landed if you have strong surplus income, you have multiple assets, you are not dependent on rental income, you can hold long term, you can handle illiquidity. If not, you are taking unnecessary risk.
And risk in property is slow, but when it hits hard. Now let's bring this back to you. If you're listening right now and you're thinking about upgrading, ask yourself one simple question. Does this move increase my options or reduce them? Because real wealth is not about what you own. It's about how flexible you are, how liquid you are, how fast you can move. And most people trade all of that away for a bigger house. Think about that. Final thought. Society tells you landed equals success. But reality? Success is not the house you live in. It's the freedom you have. Freedom to walk away, pivot, invest, adapt. And if your property removes that freedom, then it's not an upgrade. It's a cage. If you're deciding between condo and landed, and you want a clear, structured breakdown based on your income, goals, and risk level, reach out to me. I'll help you map out what you should actually buy, when to upgrade, and how to structure your property journey properly. No fluff, no emotion, just math. This is M.